that is Madam Abigail F. Coco. She's the project manager at VOSIEDA, West Africa, and Timothy uh, Kotu is the team leader at VOSIEDA. They're here as my guests this morning. Uh, Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning, Vavelis.
Okay. So we VOSIDA with some partners will be launching this building community resilience to climate impacts through climate smart small scale farming on the 17th of February. But first of all, let's understand VOSIDA. What do you do? Can you just knock your mark there small? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. I can start with you, Madam Coca.
Thank you so much. But I would like to give the opportunity to my team leader to speak first.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Vaveli. VOSIEDA West Africa is a Liberian organization. It's actually volunteers for sustainable development in Africa. VOSIEDA is works across the Mana River Basin in Liberia, in Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Cote d'Ivoire, basically working on climate and environmental sustainability, livelihood and agriculture, women empowerment, and other social development issues.
Okay. And you be in existence for how many
VOSIEDA
years?
was actually established in 2000. That was at the heat of the civil crisis.
Okay.
At the time, some of us were young people. So we were funded basically to provide volunteer services to the challenges that we face in our country and to other challenges emerging from the West African sub-region. So we got fully incorporated in 2003, and since then, VOSIEDA have established itself as one of the sustainable platforms for development in Africa.
Okay. Now let's talk about this program on the climate impact or climate change, for example. What is it all about? Any of you?
All right, let me get the ball rolling from there. Climate change is in talk of the town now.
Yeah.
It's a global
Topic.
thing. Yeah. So considering from the Paris Agreement, 191 countries signed up to that, and Liberia is one of those countries. So you see that a lot of international organizations, a lot of national organizations have interest in reducing the impact of climate change. So with that, VOSIEDA was opportune to have this 3-year contract from one of our partners, which is the Swedish Embassy. And the project actually focused on 4 different things.
Okay.
So we are looking at increasing land use, production, and also increase climate smart agriculture practices. So we're going to be working with local farmers, mainly in Lower Nima County. So although we have our office in Maserado, but our main focus will be in Nima County. And we also have another sub-office in Boom County.
Okay.
But that sub-office, what we're going to be doing under this project is mainly using it as an experiment ground where we produce compost for the farmers. In our layman English, the farm we will say produce manure or fertilizer. So we want to get rid of using too much chemical on our plants. So we're going to be producing our natural fertilizer,
Okay.
like the manure and all of that stuff. So another thing too, also going to be focusing on under this project is strengthening community reliance to climate change.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we want to reduce agriculture greenhouse gas. This is one of the most important things. So as Liberia signed up to that agreement, Liberia has agreed that we will reduce greenhouse gas by this time. And this is the percentage we're going to reduce. So to support our government of Liberia as national NGO, we also going to be working with local farmers to see how best they can carry on smart agriculture practices to avoid climate impact.
Okay.
And in the end, we also want our farmers to have more income. They should be able to generate income, not just producing on a very small scale and then they can't get anything from there for their family to be able to support their children and all of that.
So, Mr. Kotu, what are the kind of farmers you're targeting to work with?
Well, basically, Liberia, most of the farm around the country are small scale. These are farmers that are making farm on less than 2 hectares of land. So they mostly depend on their family labor. They don't have machine or other advanced equipment to make their farm. So people in that category are the kind of farmers this project will actually target.
Okay.
We are targeting 21,000, as Abigail said. And yes, we'll be starting in Lima County in approximately 3 districts for now. And maybe we might expand to other areas.
Okay. So, Madam Coco, I mean, in terms of working with the farmers, we'll come to the launch of the project. But under the project, is how many years project?
It's a 3 years project.
Okay, 3 years. So, in practical terms, how you going to be working with these farmers? Is it evaluating the farms? What do they do on the farm on a daily basis, or in practical terms, how are you going to be working with them?
Okay, we have different mechanisms put in place to ensure that we achieve our goal. So on this team, we also have trained technicians like the agronomists. We also have irrigation specialists.
Yeah.
So all of those team members have specific role to play. So we're not just going to go on the farm and say, oh, let's see your cassava, how you doing. No, we need to also provide training for those farmers. Like he said, or I think later said, they are small scale farmers. So definitely we know there are a lot of gaps. So to get them to where we want to reach them, we have to identify the gaps and then work towards improving their ability. At the end of the day, another thing we also hope to do is not just leaving it like that, to be able to add value to their crops. Because if we want the farmers to make more money, there must be a value attached to that. And this is where we will come in to arrange the whole value chain of our local rice production or cassava production, because our main focus is rice and cassava. So we're going to see how we can connect, work with other NGOs or organizations that are also interested in getting the farmer produce to the market. For us now, we are not focusing on that, but in time to come, we hope that we can also partner with them to make sure that those produce from the farm be taken to the market.
Yeah.
And like I said, adding our value
Yeah.
to it. If you just take your cassava from the farm and then carry it to the market, maybe one bag of cassava maybe sold at a rate of $1,000. But if you process that cassava into our regular thing we're eating now, right? We call it the super curry, which even babies eat it now. You will have more money compared to just taking the cassava from the farm and selling it per bag. So we're going to be supplying the farmers with machine and other equipment.
Value added chain.
Yeah, other equipment to help them add more value to the product.
Okay. Mr. Kotu, you want to add?
Yes, I want to add just a few things. You know, this project is really focusing on addressing the impact of climate change on these small scale farmers. And one of the areas that we feel the impact of climate change is the area of deforestation. In our country, we are blessed, we have vast area of forest, but currently if you travel around the country, you see that because of these small scale farming activities, there are too much / imperant agricultural system. So in that case, most of the farm in forested areas have caused serious deforestation. So we're going to be working with these farmers to reduce their impact, to keep them in one location so that they are not migrating from one spot to another every year to cause serious deforestation.
Okay.
So one of the approach it would be either to help them develop the lowland in a sustainable way that they can continue to produce food from the lowland instead of making farm on the highland throughout the year from place to place.
Does this program take into consideration farming implements for the farmers?
Yes, we take into consideration farming implement, but we are not going the traditional way.
Okay.
You know, most time we have seen organization come and supply farmers the call access, hoe and other things, and the farmer use these things. By the time the project ends, everything's over. We are actually going a different direction this time. That is help the farmers to think differently, keeping them in one location, helping them to improve their production, irrigating their farm in a better way. So yes, we are taking into consideration farming implements,
Okay.
but taking different dimension altogether.
Okay. So let's delve into the project, the program itself. Uh, so you want to, in essence, make farmers uh, survive against climate change, and you talk about deforestation. I mean, will you be working with the farmers in a way that they don't farm at the wrong location?
Yes, one reason why farmers migrate from one spot to another in Liberia is basically to find fertile soil. And also during the dry season, they are forced to leave from where they are farming to another location. So if you can create conditions for the people to stay in one location by providing them inputs, like special compost, to to resupply the nutrients they lose during the farming period, you are able to empower them to stay in one place. In that case, you reduce their impact on the surrounding forest. You also have to do irrigation. If you improve the irrigation system for a farmer, for example, they won't have to leave from their farming spot during the dry season to go to another spot. So, yes, we actually going to help them stay in one location. That's one. And we're also going to improve the way they do in their farm to help them stay in one place and also to improve their production,
Okay.
to enhance their productivity. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, if you just join us, you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. My guests are Madam Abigail F. Coco, the project manager, and Timothy Kotu, the team leader of VOSIEDA West Africa. Let me come to you, Madam Coco. In terms of, looking at the kind of farming, these farmers that you'll be working with, are you concerned about what kinds of farming your targeted farmers do, and how many farmers are you targeting in the first place?
All right, thank you so much. So let me start with the last one. How many farmers? So we're looking at around, like my team leader said, 21,000.
21,000 farmers.
Yes.
That's a huge number.
Yeah. We know there are a lot of small scale
From Nimba.
from Nima County.
Nimba can produce 21,000 farmers.
So that's a range I gave you. I said 21,000. So we are looking around that range.
Oh, okay.
It might be a little bit lower or more.
What if they are in
So-
cooperatives?
Yes, and that's another very important thing we're going to be considering because, like I was telling you earlier, we also want to encourage them to add value to their crop. So, for example, if we bought a rice mill, we may not be able to supply all the 21,000 or 900 people rice mill each. So, there where the cooperative come in. So, definitely we will be considering that we're going to work with cooperative.
Okay. And I was asking about the specific kind of farmers, whether it's rice farm, cassava, I'm into rubber, I'm into cocoa.
Okay, so we're not looking at cash crops. We're looking at rice and cassava farmers
Oh,
at a lower level, not people who are doing large farming with machines and other things. No, we're looking at small scale farmers.
So at the end of the project, what kind of legacy you want to leave behind?
Yes, so as I said earlier, the VOSIEDA is a Liberian organization. So it's not really about legacy. We want to create change
And the change will be a legacy.
lasting change.
Yeah.
So lasting change we want to see in the communities will be a sustainable farming practices, a boost or increase productivity of the small-scale farmers, reduced greenhouse gas in small-scale farming across Liberia, and the lower rate of deforestation as a result of small-scale farming. Yes, those are some of the impact we want to see in these farming communities.
And how do you think you achieve that? Let's delve into your project, because you will be implementing your project. You know what you're going to do. So tell us how you're going to achieve that.
So when we come to enhancing the productivity of farmers, currently we did just a rough study. If you see maybe a farmers in Nimba County cultivate 1 acre or hectare of cassava, the yield for that cassava is much lower because they are not using improved methods. They are not using improved irrigation practices. They are not using improved planting materials, improved cassava breed. So to change that, for example, we're going to supply these farmers improved planting materials that are much more productive,
Okay.
that are much more tolerant to the drought or to the impact of climate change.
Yeah.
So we're also going to be doing irrigation for them, improve irrigation system. In that way, we can help them keep to the one location. So at the end of the process or the project, you're going to see that the farmers have increased their production. They are able to stay in that one location, and their income have increased.
Okay.
So definitely, yes, we're going to be doing that. And when it comes to lowering the issue of deforestation, you also see that because of small-scale farming, farmers are migrating from one place to another every year in search of fertile land. So one component of this project is to focus on replenishing the nutrients that the farmer lose during the farming processes.
Okay.
And doing that will help them to stay in one location. So you will not see every year making small farm around the forest.
Okay. So, Madam Abigail Kuko, I mean, talking about the fertilizers, not using chemicals, getting rid of chemicals and using the ones on the ground. Do you have on the project that means of transforming what you take from the field, transform it into a more, effective fertilizer for the farms?
Yes, like I told you, we have technicians that are working on this project.
Okay.
And most of them are in the field, so they are not based in Monrovia. So we have people with the expertise to do that. So I can't speak to that too much because that's not my area. But I assure you
But it's
that,
under the project, right?
Yeah, I assure you we have people who are responsible for that. So it's something that's going to be very simple because that's the area of specialization. Yeah.
Okay. So under the project, what other components do we have?
So I just want to throw a little light on the issue of fertilizer you were trying to ask Abigail. VOSIEDA maintain a small-scale farmer support center in central Liberia, precisely in Bangabong County.
Yeah, okay.
And under that support center, we provide farmers with inputs.
Okay.
So our aim is to reduce the usage of chemicals
Okay,
on our food, right? Because most of the farmers are not educated to the use of these chemical elements. So we're going to establish a mini factory. We have funds in the project that are going to produce us the machine. We're going to procure, set up a factory that will be turning waste into compost, into organic fertilizer. And that fertilizer be used by the farmers to replace the chemical they're using currently. So we're trying to do that to reduce their reliance on these chemical agents that are very dangerous to ourselves as human beings, consumer, the Liberian public that eat these crops, especially, and as well as the farmer themselves.
And that's where I was coming with the question. Has there been, a report of the effects, the bad effects of the overuse or the wrong use of these chemicals, this conventional way of fertilizing the crops?
There are studies all around the world. They are on the internet. Some of these studies have been conducted in Liberia here, which we cannot clearly pull out right now because on the radio. But if you go online, you search, you can find those links, and those studies have clearly stated the dangerous impact of using chemical in your food, which is very dangerous. Yes, so
And-
there are studies.
And to that, VOSIEDA also did her own research
Okay.
before including this into the project. So from the research conducted, we realized that a lot of farmers are complaining that they are not using organic compost or organic fertilizer for the crop, and because of that, there is huge impact on our health as human. So if you went to the market, you ask people, what do you buy? Do you buy organic food or do you do this? A lot of people complain, even to the hospital. A lot of people are complaining. Doctor reports say, oh, it is because of XYZ. So based upon that, we then decided that yes, I think we should move from this method to this method.
Okay.
So for Zeta conducted her own small
Yeah.
scale research and was able to incorporate that into the project.
And it formed your decision to.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, in terms of the actual launch, and how much, how in that sense, how much are we talking about? The scope of the project.
When it comes to that, we wouldn't want to disclose that on the radio now.
Why?
Talking money business, money matter.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
but
farmers want to know, I mean, how much is being invested in the project. I know ultimately they are the beneficiaries, but what's the cost of the project?
Right, even though this project have other support,
Okay.
but it's principally funded by the Swedish government through the Swedish embassy in Monrovia. They are putting forth 20 million SEK, Swedish kronor. If you at that current
Yeah,
exchange
you have to
rate,
change it to US.
Okay.
maybe
Yes,
around
yeah.
1.8 million United States dollars.
So
That's their contribution to the project, and they are the principal funder. But we know that there will be other contribution, so we don't want to say exactly this is the actual cost of the project.
Sure.
But
the
that is what
contributions
can
are still pouring in.
Yes.
Let's come to the let's come to the main indoor program of the launch of the program. Where will the program be launched? The project?
The project will be launched in Kanta City, Nima County.
Okay.
Yeah, because our focus of implementation is Nima County. And Kanta being the capital city, commercial, right? Commercial capital city, and easy to reach. So we're going to use Kanta to launch the project.
It's when?
It's tomorrow, the 17th.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can take calls. Is there anything in the project that you want to talk about?
I think you can take calls if anyone want to know something specific about the project.
Okay.
They can ask us.
Maybe one thing that we didn't talk about is the selection process of these farmers. How are they selected?
We actually did a study, and we came up with a selection process. For example, it's a whole list because we are also aware that there's a political season project of this nature. People want to produce. So we are very careful to highlight that this project is being funded by the Swedish embassy and is implemented by a non-governmental organization. It has no political attachment. That's the first thing. The second thing is we are targeting small-scale farmers, especially youth and women in these farming communities. Communities hard to reach. So there's a whole list of selection criteria that are documented.
But how do I'm a farmer. I'm listening to the radio. You're talking about it, and I want to benefit. So how do I go through the process?
Right. You can visit our office if you want to know more about the project. You can also place a call to us. Our numbers are visible on the various signboard that we have placed around. But the selection criteria is strictly based on what we call vulnerable population. population that are seriously affected by the impact of climate change. Population that are farming on the very low and small scale level,
Okay.
right?
And has VOSIEDA mapped those vulnerable communities?
We are currently mapping. Our technicians and agronomists are in the field working.
Okay.
So we are mapping. We're also working in collaboration with the county agriculture department, and as well as the the local government office in the county.
Okay. Okay, so call us on 080514096, 080514096, and be live. We have Madam Abigail Kukob, she's the project manager, and Timothy Kotu, the team leader. They are from VOSIEDA, right here on the Super Morning Show. Call us on 08805144096, and be live. Now, currently as it stands, I know the project is not yet launched. It will be launched tomorrow. What's the status of the entire project? I mean, following the launch, what's next?
The launch is just an event, but the project was actually signed between VOSIEDA and the Swedish Embassy in November 2022. So since that time, different activities have been taking place. There have been implementation of other activities, setting up the project steering committees, mapping of farming communities, and the whole range of activities are going on right now. So yes, the process is on.
Okay. So following the launch, the next phase will be what?
Implementation. Implementation is already taking place. So we're just going to upskill activities. We're just going to, strengthen what we're already doing, strengthen our network, strengthen our engagement with partners, and also help people understand the impact of climate change on small-scale farmers in Liberia, and see how the Liberian public, especially the Liberian government, can support these kind of initiatives.
Okay. Thank you. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's the name?
Anyway, I'm Bafre G. Sharif from Lofa United Line Association of Liberia and Disabled Farm in Lofa County, Wanjama State. Yes, I want to appreciate our brother and sister that in studios. The kind of opportunity that we are looking up to. Mainly for us, we are disabled farmers in Wanjama. We are located in Kwanugoni district, there where we are making our farm. We really want to also apply. I'm sitting at the radio listening to you. So I want to send the organization email address to them, so they could send the information to us. Then we can start it from over there. We are disabled farmers in Lofa County. The ministry is also aware of us. We are bona fide disabled farmers in Liberia. We are producing rice productions. At DXCSA, our farm, we are already bred the farm, everything. We are only waiting for joining. And we also do crotch, which is vegetable productions. We also have vegetable production. We have our own area, we have our own farm, and we have our own village that we are carrying on this process.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me call my email address so that they could send all the information, so we started from over there. The email address is ruba2016@gmail.com.
Okay, so we're not cutting you off. Vavle,
thank you.
We have an office in Vanjama. VOSIEDA get an office in Vanjama, Lofa County. So just go to Kisi Quarter. You'll see a signboard there. Contact our local office, and you can start the discussion from that point.
Let me just buttress what Tim said. Actually, this project was specific focus. So our focus now is Nima County, and I heard him talk about application. We are not accepting application. It's not like a job application where you have to apply to benefit, to be a beneficiary of the project. No. So our focus is Nima County, and we are working directly with local farmers in Lower Nima County. Like he said, there was a whole list of criteria when it comes to selected communities. One, it must be hard to reach. It should also we should also include women group at certain level. We should also include young people. It should be people at the very low scale when it comes to farming. So right now this project is sponsored by CEDA. It's a CEDA project, and CEDA has their own requirement and focus.
Okay.
So this is what we are doing. This project is not in Lofa County.
Okay.
It's only Nima now.
And I want to ask about the benefits of women under the project. Are you highly considerate of women farmers?
Of course, I just mentioned that women now is one of our high priority. So we're going to be looking at working with women at least, if I'm wrong, my team leader will correct me, but at least 55%. Yes. So we want more women group and also young people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to share?
Yes, but I think you can see the project manager is actually a lady, so it's already women focused.
Okay.
So we don't need to even explain much about that.
And looking at the agricultural sector in Liberia, especially when it comes to the local level, when you talk about labor, you talk about who goes to the market and all of that. WHP reports says that 95% are women. So the women are always the one who produce, who do the labor, but then they don't have control over finances. So how do we empower the women? If we want more development when it comes to the agriculture,